Lord Helix. The Lord Helix. When it comes to this team, what's the first thing that stands out when you look at this team? The very, very first thing, like, boom, it's like looking at those ink blot tests. Like, boom, what's the first thing you see?
Well, I mean, him on top is really distracting. So
It is.
if you want to go
That's
first,
exactly what I wanted.
uh, yeah. So him on top draws in my eye, and then I can see this glowing white blob below. Togekiss is considered by quite a few people to be the best Draft League Pokemon. I don't know, but I do know Togekiss is absolutely one of the best. Togekiss does make any team and every team better. I fully stand by that statement. I love Togekiss. Looking at another, like, kind of sweeping across, there is a slow Trick Room setter in Galarian Slowbro. There's a slow Trick Room sweeper in Delmise, and there's a fast attacker in Latios. These are all good positives. I think that Togekiss and Heatran are quite a good combo, given uh, what they're weak to. They cover for each other overall really well. I mean, Togekiss with water, like, but Togekiss also has really good special defense, and usually water attacks are hitting on the special side anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say that's a big plus. There's also Wide Guard, um,
Oh, is there ever
a
wide
lot of
guard?
Wide Guard.
Yeah.
Three Wide Guard users,
Good
so that
ones,
can also
too.
help. What's
They're
that?
good wide guard users, too. All three of them.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, Swampert has the highest base stat total of all starters. So
Oh,
Swampert is special,
fun fact.
cut above. Um, however, um, like then like looking at this team as a team, the first thing that jumps out is I'm seeing, okay, the fast mode really centers on Latios in my opinion. The slow mode centers on Galarian Slowbro and Delmise in my opinion. These are all psychic ghost types, which means they're all weak to dark and to ghost. Togekiss has Follow Me. That's really good for stopping the ghost and dark attacks. Togekiss even resists dark, which is awesome. You don't have Astral Barrage in a Series 9 format, so you don't have to worry about being unable to stop that with Togekiss. Delmise doesn't particularly care about Snarl. Okay, but your fast Ace, and your slow Trick Room Setter, your slow Sweeper, all being weak to two of the same type. I think that that's um, that's a bit of a minus point. It makes it a bit easier to make the same lead for fast mode and slow mode, in my opinion, and that can make it more difficult to pull off consistent wins, I would say. Um, just thinking specifically about if you're going fast mode or slow mode, um, it's really helpful to have it where your opponent needs to make an adjustment. They need two different leads to cover your fast mode and your slow mode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, I see, like, the fact that you need to set up with, you know, Latias. Latias? Yeah, Latias.
This is Latios.
Latios. Okay, I can
And they're
never
the
get it right.
Lati yada 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 yada. Oh wait, it's body.
I'm really bad at those two. And not to mention
Oh.
Slowbro being weak to the same thing, like you said. It's actually
Mm,
really hard to set up. Like, this team can get going with the right support, but like you said,
mhm.
having the same weakness is kind of easy to, not easy, but it's going to be a little easier to stop it when it comes to, like, you need to kill it before it, gets its Trick Room or Tailwind off or something like that. Or not to mention just
Right.
goes off offensively if you're guessing wrong when it comes to that
Yeah.
Latios, right? But man, that Hitmontop's distracting.
Right. Yeah. Him on top and Ludicolo.
Mr. Rhyme.
Uh, I don't know why, but Mr. Rhyme, I think it's because the hands are really active, but overall, like, their body doesn't
They
move that
are.
much.
I was remembering the feet, the
You know what I
tap
mean?
dancing feet, but I forgot the hands are just like da 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 da.
They're just so much more casual. Yeah. Meanwhile, Ludicolo is swaying back and forth hypnotically. Like, I was doing commentary and I had to pause for like 10 seconds. I was just like, how do I purge this from my view without like missing the whole battle? But yeah, so maybe Hitmontop goes so when we look at this graphic again, we won't be distracted. How about that?
Well, there's also another reason to get rid of Hitmontop on this team. I don't think it's a bad
Oh,
mon. I think
no,
if we were gonna make a move, Hitmontop is so good with fake out and intimidate, and not to mention technician. I think this thing with an assault vest
right
gets
guard.
really good, and wide guard too. But as we mentioned about value, I think in the A tier, there you can change your entire team with one move when you move an A
Mm-hmm.
or an S tier, especially in this league, right? So I think Hitmontop it's as good as it is. I think this team could definitely benefit from some different offense. In
Mm,
my opinion, I think that Hitmontop could go, but no matter what change you make, I think it needs to have fake out. I think
mm,
we mentioned earlier, you mentioned earlier that you don't need fake out, but it's just so good. There's a reason every single team
for
has
sure.
one. So I think if you're gonna
Right?
if you're gonna eliminate your only fake out user, I think you need to pick up another one.
Mm.
And so many things get it right, so it's I don't think it's gonna be too hard to do. Yeah.
Uh, I I I would like to see a really fast fake out user, but I think all the fast fake outers that I can think of have been drafted. The reason I was thinking fast is because there's one Pokemon with higher than base 100 speed on this team, which is Latios. Miltank at 100 can still be adequate, um, but yeah, um, I think it's somewhat fair to say Hitmontop and
Maybe throw.
Throw don't do the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
but like they both have wide guard. There's Intimidate on Luxray. They've got the same attack. They're both really bulky, um, and you're gonna close combat.
Yeah.
Uh, the biggest difference I would say is the lack of vacuum wave and bullet punch, which this team could probably use. So I can understand the Hitmontop being here. So,
Mm-hmm.
like just having strong priority attacks is really nice. So I want to see throw.
Well, it's one of the few Pokemon that now that you mentioned that actually get 3 priority moves: Vacuum Wave, Mach Punch, Bullet Punch. Like I think
Right.
the only other one I can think of, maybe Inteleon. I know it gets Aqua Jet and Ice Shard, which is actually I think the
Right.
only mon that
And
gets it,
Sucker
and
Punch.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
actually
So
think
there's three.
Hitmontop gets Sucker Punch as well. So that's even 4.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
so its speed definitely gets made up for from those moves as well. So Hitmontop is just so
Yep.
hard to drop. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't drop it.